What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Serious Angler. As promised in the podcast that you guys have listened to or seen, we partnered with the folks over at Do It Molds, and we're going to start making some custom bait making content for you guys, how-tos, how to get started. And it's going to be interesting because Andy knows what he's doing a little bit with this stuff where I'm a complete newbie. So you're going to see two different sides of this thing in terms of me starting at square one on the learning curve where Andy's a decent bit ahead of me. And we're going to go head over to Andy's place right now where we got all of our stuff set up, start pouring some jig heads, and you guys are going to start seeing throughout this channel as time goes on more and more custom bait making stuff where we're going to, from start to finish, we're going to pour this stuff, we're going to make it, we're going to have this idea in our head of stuff that we want, make it ourselves, get out on the water, put it to the test, and hopefully catch some fish and show you guys all of that from start to finish, the ins and outs, behind the scenes, and kind of how you can do this stuff on your own, where it might be really nice to go head over to Omnia Fishing and buy baits, buy what you want that's already made, where you just got to make it, shipped to your house and tie it on. Whereas this stuff, if there's something super hyper specific that no companies have out there, it's stuff that you can tinker, make your own, personalize it, customize it to your liking, and therefore go out and catch some fish. So we're going to show you guys how to do that. We're going to go head over to Andy's. Come along. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Captain here. Today, as you've heard on previous episodes on the podcast, we were partnering up with Do It Molds. So I am an avid tackle tinkerer, and Bailey thought it would be a great idea to start making our own tackle. So what we have is our melting pot, some hooks, always owner hooks, some Do It Mold things. We won't talk about what happened here, and we got our molds. So we got Manic Mullet. Today we're going to be pouring it in the round ball. And these are 5313 hooks. It goes all the way from 5/8, well, 1/32 all the way to 5/8. And I think we're going to pour the 1/8 and 1/4 today, just to start with the owner 5313 hook. We look forward to showcasing everything that we build here in the future, some things that we need to add. We look forward to you guys giving us feedback on this, because I've never done this before and I'm probably gonna burn myself. So.
As you can tell, we're beginners, but we're getting started and we're excited to show you guys on our journey how we create some custom tackle. And as we get better with this, showcasing just different stuff that we can make and then putting it to use.
Big thing when you are pouring lead poisoning is a real deal. So always make sure you have at least a KN95 mask and gloves so you don't burn yourself. We're outside, so it's very well ventilated. If you're pouring it inside a closed space like my messy garage, or in your basement or wherever, make sure you have like a well ventilated hood or fan blowing the air out, along with wearing your safety materials like your mask and your gloves, just so you stay safe for yourself and your family. The lead is now melted. After finagling with it to figure out how to melt the lead, we realized that we had to put it into the bottom of the pot. Rookie mistakes. So we will own those here. So we got our hooks lined up here. I'm going to experiment. We're going to pour it into a cold mold because we are outside. So we're going to pour 1/8 and 1/4 ounce, and they both have a 2-aught 5313 owner hook in it currently. So let's close it up here and see how rookie-ish we look. So I don't know if you can see it in here, but you'll notice when you look through, this one and this one are the two that we're going to pour today. If you look through it, my hand's not in the way, you can see the light through. The ones that you can hardly see the light are the ones that you want to pour. So let's see how this goes. Find your spot. Give it a second here. So it filled in our holes, so we should be able to just pry her open. We got some jig heads.
Grab your pliers.
Yeah, you don't want to burn yourself because it is hot. So that's pouring it into a cold mold. And there it is with the triangle on top. Theoretically, we should be able to just kind of
plop her off. Andy's got to hit the gym.
I do. There she goes. And there is a new jig head. Don't laugh at us here. We're brand new, but
we're giving you guys the raw footage here, step-by-step process.
So, like,
obviously, we have some work to do.
We do have some work to do, but I would say it's a good work in progress. That one would still work.
It's the first jig head we've ever poured.
Yes.
Step in the right direction.
Let's see how this one turned out. Same thing. So it's a little cold down there. I'm thinking that maybe it's not getting all the way through properly.
Bringing you guys along on our journey of custom bait creation. So kind of walk them through why you put that back in there.
So when you break off the tip, it's excess lead. So you're going to put it back in your pot so that you can have more lead to build more jig heads. So let's go one hook this time just to see here. And I'm going to try something. I'm going to warm this up first just for a second and see if we produce any better results. All right, now that we've left our mold here on top of the melting pot for a few minutes, it should be a little bit warmer, so therefore we should get a more pure pour into the mold. So now it's going to be hot, so it's very important that we use our pliers when we pick up our hook for our jig head. And we want to do the 1/4 ounce. So we're going to place it right in there. These pliers are not good.
Quality needle nose pliers
are needed. So there we go. We'll close this bad boy up. Make sure we do the right one. So it's going to be this guy right here. That one. We'll get it underneath here like so. Got a little pour over because we are rookies. Make sure that's nice and tight. And then when we pull it out, it should be almost a full clean pour. Hey, how about that?
Beautiful.
Much better. So once again, we got the triangle up here on the top. And the lead is a little bit better too that time. So
show the folks.
Our first perfect jig head that we have poured on an Owner 5313 hook.
Thank you.
How about that?
So what you can take from that is once you have the components and the area to actually pour your own jig heads, the process of it really isn't that complex. It's pretty straightforward as long as you have the right tools to get the job done. And basically you have that correct starter kit to start pouring things, and then you can really dial it in and start, powder coating, jig heads to be green pumpkin, to be chartreuse, white, etc. The list goes on. And then you can start diving into actually pouring plastic baits, like your own baits in terms of colors, etc. And the list goes on, and that is something we are going to feature on the Serious Angler YouTube channel as we go on here. But we wanted to get this first video out to show you guys because it is the time for us to be throwing these swim baits. So you saw Andy pour that little ball head jig, and then Andy turned around and also poured a couple of football heads, like you can actually see here. This is a single, football swim bait head, one that I absolutely love to use. We're going to get to this in a second, but instead of ordering, buying your own swim bait heads, especially ordering stuff where, it might not have all the components that you want to make it 100% how you want it to be set up. Now you can do that with Do It molds. So you can buy the molds, buy the setup, order the specific hooks you want, the head shape, be able to tinker with your tackle to make it yours. You don't have to abide by whatever company is using a hook that you don't like. Maybe you like the jig head, the style, the mold, but you don't like the hook used. Now you can actually perfect that equation for yourself. And then over time, with this system, you're saving a lot of money on versus going out and buying these jig heads. Now you can pour them yourself and pour a lot more for a much less cost. After that startup, really all it is you have that mold, you have the tools to do it. After that, as long as the hooks are cheap. You can see, you can go to doitmolds.com and see how cheap these hooks are. Beyond that, all you're buying is hooks and lead. Granted, you're still paying a cost, but you are saving yourself money long term if you take this route. And that's what I love about this, because like I said, this little football head, swim bait head that I love to use, this is going to save me money over time. long term, especially just the fact that all I have to put into it is that lead, that hook, and then obviously your swim bait. What we got on here is a little, I think it's a 3.8 inch Kayak in perch. But what I'm going to do right now is show you guys, because we took these out in the water. I went to a local lake of mine, caught some smallmouth. I'll roll some clips right here of catching some smallmouth. These are perfect this time of year, these little football heads that Andy poured from Do It Molds. Because I like the football head this time of year because we don't have grass yet, and a lot of our fish, early spring, when the water's still the high 30s into the low 40s, they're deep, anywhere from 9 feet to 30. And what that football head does is it gets down in that rock and that sand, some of the transition stuff, and it really helps that bait stay on bottom, not get hung up, especially when you're rolling over rocks, and really just kind of helps that wobble. Whereas, a ball head is great for when you're keeping it more higher in the column, where for me, if I'm going to slow roll swim bait, I want that football style head to therefore go through cover and to roll on bottom and get through those rocks a lot easier. And you can see just from those videos, we caught some dang good fish on them, and it's just super easy. You're basically just counting rocks. It's just one of those things. We have multiple swim bait setup videos. We'll link those right here. Shows that we did on specific swim bait heads. But that is going to be the game changer for us, this season and moving forward, is being able to take what we've gotten from Do It Molds and be able to tinker with it to perfect what we want to throw for the style that we fish. And that's really what you should take from this video, is if you're trying to perfect your system, there's certain things that you like in companies, but it's not 100% the way you want it yet. You can change that with Do It Molds. So again, we'll leave the link down below how to get to Do It Molds, where you guys can go and access this custom tackle by yourself and get set up. And obviously you can always reach out to us on social media, email, whatever, or you can actually reach out to the folks at Do It Molds. They are amazing people, and they will hook you up, tell you exactly what you need to get started so that you're not missing any different variables, because we all know it's tough to go and order something, get it in, you're excited, you get it in, you finally get set up and you realize you're missing one or two things. The guys over at Do It Molds will make sure you have everything you need to start it, get rolling, and making your own custom baits. So I hope you guys learned something from that video, and I hope you will go and make your custom tackle if that's something you're looking to do. And obviously, like I mentioned, there's going to be a lot more custom bait making content from this channel and stuff that we're going to be using, taking it from the shop to the water to the fish's mouth, showing you guys step-by-step process of how we do it. We hope you look forward to it. If you haven't already, please thumbs up this video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, check out Do It Molds, and we will see you guys on the next one.